Well, I think that's what you saw this morning when they announced that they were going to use CFIUS. And remember, the first word in CFIUS is committee. So that means more deliberative, that means more collegial. That means the gun is no longer in any one person's hand, including the president, so that if there were a misguided word or whatever, that might start things off. So the market looked at that and said, oh, it's going to be a committee of professionals? Then we probably won't have the train run off the track. And that's a kind of sigh of relief rally that you're seeing here. Now, I would be careful because there are still signs around that we're going to see volatility going into the end of the quarter and the end of the half. People are reweighting and rebalancing their positions. They're taking a look at where they're going. The absolute hero continues to be the energy sector that's bringing us on. And while people talk about the financials, quote unquote, being somewhat weaker, they are in a collective group. They are at multi-decade lows as a group in action. And that has not been wiped away easily. That tends to drag on for a little bit. So I would suggest to the viewers, you want to be very nimble. Be careful here. These next few days, you're going to get this twist or that. Monday was all about that rebalancing. It wasn't that people said, let's take profit in the FANGs. What happens, folks, is you have a formula, and it says to you that 25% of your portfolio should be in the FANGs. The FANGs get very hot and they run up, and just because of the cause and action, that makes them 36% of your portfolio. So to get back to formula, you've got to either buy more of the other or sell down. What they do is a combination of both, and that's why you see those crazy swings, even when there's no news and some stuff.
So you think the rebalancing dynamic outweighs the trade dynamic? What's more powerful here?
Unless there's a marked sudden surprise, somewhat like CFIUS, I think that the rebalancing would certainly be equal to the trade. Again, the trade would only pile up if there are surprises. Now, you're going to get some. There are rumors around that the Koreans are starting to reinforce their testing area all over again. The president's going to get asked about that, and a lot will depend on what he said. So trade will be there for surprises. The other thing the viewers should remember is trade will be less important when it's retaliation. When China says, oh, yeah, well, I'll match you. Well, matching you is not as severe as escalating. So escalation will have far more importance.
What about the impact, Art, on foreign markets very quickly, and how that could spill over to the U.S., or is the U.S. sort of a safe harbor versus a China, which is down more than 20% from the high?
Well, I think the safe harbor is a little bit strong, and China is very iffy. You and I discussed off the camera before we began. Their currency is in a rather difficult spot. Their banking system, they're putting extra money in. There are people who are kind of writing that off, saying it's small internal stuff, but China and some of the other banks are there. And let's not forget, again, the importance of the quarter. As this quarter ends, the central banks around the world are going to be less accommodative, and the governments around the world are going to have to find a new buyer for the debt that they're bringing out. So that's going to make us all a little bit more vulnerable.
Hey there, thanks for checking out CNBC on YouTube. Be sure to subscribe to stay up to date on all of the day's biggest stories. You can also click on any of the videos around me to watch the latest from CNBC. Thanks for watching.